Okay, this is another game I played on for Civilization. Yes, also another game where I was settled on Ivory, I think. Don't remember which one. Well, it was settled on Ivory on or any other resource which gives shield, gives an advantage of production. Now, skipping the first phases, I move on directly on 75 BC. Also because I mixed save because save I actually took 3 times before I got it right. It's not where because I got it right before I got it right with town dispositions that I would do, considering that I had problem with barbarians, with a civilization next to me, and with optimal planning. So at in the end, what I will come up with my first town, Delhi, was actually settled over Ivory, yes, over the elephant. Mm. Now, for some reason, I know how to work in these tiles now. I don't. There must be a reason, I guess. Maybe just because concentrating. I guess I will do later on. Well, the reason is I know because I'm struggling with happiness and I don't want my town to revolt. So Delhi is the first town. Bombay, Delhi is the town that's next to Finland. Well, it's not next to the river. I don't sure what I'm going to do. Bombay is on the coast and on the river. This is also on the coast and next to the stone. And another town which is next, which is actually the main purpose is block the expansion of the Arabs. These are the Arabs, and which is with those I'm sharing this continent. Now, I I already built a galley which has been circumnavigating this continent already. Well, I'm circumnavigating this continent, but I will not find anybody. So well, I've been already exploring. I'm also with footmen. Now this zone has been infested with barbarians, which gave me problems in the first runs. Well, the Arabs are actually concentrating on this part now. Some people who say I should take them out, but since there is a very clear border between me and them, and I have still room for expansion here. After clearing the jungle, although there is not really that many resources here. That's one problem. This map resources and luxuries are pretty scarce here, so that's a challenging map. Challenging also from the point of view of happiness. Now, let's have a look at the towns. Well, considering the isolated start, considering the access to stone, I'll trying to build the wonders. Well, Delhi is actually the only real town. The capital is actually ends up being the production towns. Well, being next to Ivory and the resources like bronze and cows and mines. While when it comes to well research is now is a kind of more balanced. It might be that the capital will not be the powerhouse for research. Still, is not super enthusiastic. Let's see. I'll take the opportunity to have a look at these other screens that I'm using that much, like food. Well, and go now. This see the Bombay has more food than Delhi. This is not sure what is. Ah, okay. This is a really. I can't. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure exactly what are all this supposed to mean. But anyway, never mind. Military overview. One unit for town. That's pretty straightforward. Military the building. The only building there is no military espionage building, no economic buildings apart the lighthouse that is going to be built here. Well, now of course this is more important now. Granary everywhere, and one happy. Oh, does the palace go happiness? I didn't know that. Library has been built. Specialist building all over the place and other stuff. Oh yeah, let's have a look at the resources. Strategic and ivory and health. Well, that's interesting. Oh, that's a good one to have to know whether I might have access to other resources. Advisor. Space is nutty what is supposed to be. Well, what to not to do. Well, barracks. Okay. Well, that's the situation of the 75. Let's move on. Let's move on to the after 500 years to 250 before Christ. Now I'm curious whether I actually managed to build the wonders. Yeah, I did manage to build both the pyramids and also the Great Lighthouse. So I have two wonders. I don't remember. Well, I have access to stone in this game, so that means that I do have some chances to build wonders. Now I'm building Chichen Itza, but probably only for hoping to fail, guess. I don't remember if I actually managed to build or not. Anyway, it's still the same town that I had 500 years ago. Well, actually, that's not really exciting. Also because I would say that I have, no, I have iron working actually. So I'm guess not for longer. So I don't have many civilizations with to change. The Arabs for some reason are pissed off at me, well, because I adopted another religion that I founded because the Islam was too slow to spread, and I needed for the morale, and I needed for the happiness. I needed religion like badly. Well, now in hindsight, I could have switched to hereditary rules to solve that problem. Also because I have the pyramids even before, not without monarchy. That's probably what I should have done instead of Let's see what are my specialists anyway. Mm, well, I'm actually scientist in one scientist in 3 or 4 towns. Well, so, I don't know, no representation how good is actually generating 12 more. How much does it generate? 91 for turn, well, which is actually considering the 12 for turn more is not that bad. Well, 9 for turn more. Not that little technology. Now, the problem is also not heavy contact. If I remember right, yeah, I'm already trying to build onto optics to try to build caravels and take contact with civilization from other continents, to make sure that I get the bonus, that I get access to technology. Let's move to 25 after Christ. Yeah. I'm the worst enemy of Saladin, big deal, because I'm the only one. Saladin does not love me. Well, now what said, I think that I still have only 4 towns. No, 5. One, two, five, and this one I have only a new one next to the rise that I will manage. That I think I just connected right now. It was in the jungle. While the Arabian Empire has 8 of them, 8 towns. It was much better at expanding that I did. Well, there's something. Maybe I should have rushed him with axes. But still, for some reason, I have a bigger score than he does. Did I build a chicken itza here? Yes, I had a chicken itza. Come on. And I'm building the anchor, but here, well, I'm trying to be a wonder, doing hardcore on wonder. Well, now that I slowly remember what was my idea was using a lot of religion here and priests. Now the anchor what is get one shield for priest in those cities. So now spawning great prophets may not be super great ideas, but you can use priests in towns where you know that are not your great person farms. So doing machinery now because I need to get up to optics, still far away from that. Now that's a very underwhelming start, and I'm sure that there might be better way to tackle this. But also there are worse way because this is actually mm, now actually no actually worse situation where I put. Let's move on to the 740. It was after Christ or before? I think it was after, right? sure. Well, I should pause this. Well, definitely yes, 74 AD. Now at last I managed to claim more of my part. Now there is a town here, Calcutta, next to the river and of the coast, which is good to have. No, Agra has been connected to the right and to the fish, and Lahore will soon be also connected to the clams. So we will become a good food towns, possibly good for producing great persons. Well, I did build the Angkor Wat, so I have access to stone, so I'm building the one which requires stone, not marble. On the other way now, I build the Maoist statues here. Still on not the ideal terms with Arabians, but I see that Arabians have no room to expand actually the 8 towns that they founded. That's the amount of towns they will be stuck with. Now I actually have optics, so what am I doing? Well, I actually have already a couple of caravels that are being exploring. Funnily enough, I haven't found any other civilizations, but they found marble here. That is probably is something that I should be claiming pretty soon, so that I can build like wonders like there is no tomorrow. Now there is a barbarian towns with crap, which is a good resource, and possibly something else. Well, now we move on. I research in music so that I can build one. But I would guess I'm pretty backward in technology. Let's see what from 70 for AD. Let's move to 1010 AD. Well, let's hope that there is no mixed with other runs, because for some I didn't actually separate them. Yeah, that's the same run, sure. Now, as we are still just 8, well, I don't, we are 8 towns, we haven't actually managed to expand anything, but as of now we are in contact with pretty much all the civilization. Now we see that the caravels, actually, as of now we even have galleons, well, which isn't required if we want to settle. Actually, with galleon, after in the year 1000, will be settled near to this marble. This area is still unclaimed and infested with barbarians. Barbarians here, some barbarians here, because the civilization starts here, north. These are the Incans. Well, the Incas are always a bad news because they are wonder whores and culture whores, and they need to be dealt with before they win the cultural victory. The Mayas, I'm not sure about the Mayas. I know what are. Well, the Mayas, I think. I don't have experience with the Mayans being particularly dangerous. Also, and the same with for the Holy Roman Empire. While on the other hand, the Malinese, they probably are kind of blocked by these other people. The Koreans, they are sharing in a small continent with the Korean, where geography is bad for them in this area. Now the country that seem to be the best starter were the Incans. They have a lot of room to expand. They have a lot of room to expand, and they would still expand into the south if unstopped, which is something that has to be avoided. Now let me see. The forge. These are good, and the harbor. Now is where you could build it, but you're not. But you haven't. Well, that's pretty much the TC situation. And now, what are the relations? Well, relations are not exciting with nobody, everybody, just because of religions. Everybody has pretty much different religions. There are the very well Buddhism. But okay, let's see how it develops from here now. We'll take uh, 100 a year later. Let's see. Yeah, don't pause it here because then I might forget to unpause that to be awkward that I do all the time. So I would rather stick with some waiting. It 100 year post. And yes, my first beachhead on this continent. Now, what kind of leader is Asoka? Asoka is spiritual, no anarchy, and double production speed of temple, which means we have to go hardcore on religions, and organized. It means with the less civic and the lighthouse factory and courthouse costs less. Now, lighthouse I will build anyway. Courthouse is not always, but they are good for espionage. Apart from corruption, of course. Oh, well, I haven't actually built that many anyway. I don't remember if I actually do. I don't remember if I actually built any other wonders. Let me check. Apart the pyramids, the Colossus. I did build the Colossus, but already updated in Angkor Wat, so we are still there. Actually, it's not 8, but 10. 10. I have another town then, which is the barbarian town from the Hittites that I conquered. So this is actually a good continent where I will have access to sheep, and horses. I'm not sure if I have access to horses. I might have not in my original continent. Well, I had access to horses, but I had access to elephants. I could compensate for that. But I will have access to horses, to sheep, which are nice to have, but important to earth, to marble. Did I have iron on my original continent? Yes. And wet if I get a barbarian town. So at least get some reasonably well. I did get here, I think, 2 different parts because I think my second run, in my second run, I had come that way, but I was a little too timid expanding here, so I might have I hope that I get the good run. Otherwise, that's how it works for me now. Now in 1120. Let's move on 100 years later. I might have to fall back if I see something that spooks me, because I know that at the first run I had trouble settling my original continent. The second run I had trouble settling the new continent. So it is consistent with what I do now. The towns are 12 because I've taken the barbarian town here, Apache, which will turn out to be a very valuable town. And I set the second town here, Bangalore. Well, nice name, a name that is a very good sign of what will be coming. Now, there are two towns on this island. One close access to horses, and make use also of this style with crabs. What's happening on the main continent? Now that I have access to marble, I can be able to build more wonders if I want to. That I don't think it doesn't happen yet. Well, let's move on anyway to the next some. Here in 1200. Let's move to 1340. I don't remember when I did the split. It's incredible slow to expand here. Well, one other thing that I also was timid at first, I was expanding here. Well, okay, I settled here a town I settled here another town, Hyderabad. Now I have 13. 13 of the towns. One thing that I'm doing here, now is building other stuff like here, University of Sankor. That means that I will get research from religious building, which I actually building. So because one of the advantage of this religious building, yes, well, I built already 5 temples, monasteries, and I probably will build more of them. Because if I do build the University of Sankor, and then later on I'm actually building also the other vendors, which like the one which you get from discovering divine rights, also help religious monuments. It was the year 1340. Let's move to the year 1500. Now there might be some inconsistency at one point because I know that I at some point I decided to go back and set a little differently. Well, so far there isn't. Now I have 4 towns here. On this continent. Now one thing that I never tried so seriously, I could have granted independence to these colonies, even to the one on the 2 islands, and they start something. I don't know why would anybody do that. Because I prefer to have total control. But I guess it might be something that we could consider. The situation can be considered, not always. It's funny that is, well, I don't know, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Just, well, never mind. What I'm doing is building the spiral minaret here, because I've been the first one to research. I think I've been trying to research divine rights. So I founded Islam, am I right? Yes, in Bombay. So Islam, no, actually it is in Bangalore. So I own Taoism and Islam. These are the religions that I founded. Well, I might use Islam later on. Well, I can convert to Islam if I wanted, but not could be not a very very weird move. Now let's have a look at the threat level. There's a lot of threats, but not a possible war. Well, apart from that, nothing else interest apart that I'm slowly cleaning this last part of my continent. Now, one mistake that I kind of made was that I was a little timid to that. Let's see if there is now let's move on to 1600. Hopefully I have a consistent path. Well, it's still consistent. I found another town, Prayaga here. I see there are tons of research, I guess, because I'm one thing that and I now actually spend some time on espionage to see what everybody is researching. Well, I saw that some people are researching scientific methods, so I have two. myself. I did the research economics, so I think I was the one who got the first one to liberalism to economics. And now I'm going scientific method to be tried to get, because there are technologies that you have tried to be first because you get bonuses, like obviously you get to liberalism, you got the first technology. To get first to liberalism, you get the free technology. If you get economics first, you get the great merchant. Now later on, there is also music, of course, when you get the first great artist. When later on, scientific method is another bridge technology that is very important. That sometimes you want to delay because it obsoletes a lot of stuff, like castles, monasteries. No, castles are obsoleted by rifle, yes, but monasteries are obsoleted, which is bad if you're a civilization concentrated on religion and also the wonders. But you need to get to this for to get physics and to get the scientists, to get to communism, then you get the great spy, and then to get to electricity that allows so many wonders that are important to have. Now democracy is also important to try to get, of course, for the great bonus that it gives, and to try to build a state of liberty, which I don't know if I even tried building in this run. I have democracy. Let's have a look at the wonder. We build well, Statue of Liberty was built by India, so it actually I built it because as I remember, Delhi. No, it's trying to build. I'm trying to build it. Not sure if I manage it. Versailles was very useful in Apache. Taj Mahal to trigger the Golden Age, Spiral Minaret, University of Sankora, which together are used, which together help a lot with. Now see, now I have a with production. I have a priest which is giving me 2 production, 1 gold and 3 research. Well, on the other hand, the temple is giving me 2. I don't know, but I think no, the Hindu temple is doing that because of the apostolic palace that has been built by the Arabs. Now instead of the Taoist monastery and the Taoist temple are giving me 2. Taoist temple is giving me 2 gold and 2 research. This is because of the spiral minaret that gives 2 gold from all religion buildings or state religion buildings, and because University of Sankora gives 2 research for all state religious buildings. So for a civilization which is very strong religion like the Indians are, these are very useful, wonderful wonders to have. And not forget that now I also building the mausoleum. The mausoleum is something that I would build anyway. It's an underestimated building because of this will be the jail, which gives a Spanish point, but it also gives 2 happy faces. Not that well, Indians are not supposed to have problems with happy faces because of well, you build a temple all over the places and religious building all over the place. But it actually compounds the advantage that I already have, and now I'm building. I actually went on and built some more courthouses, which I have a discount on, not only because of the maintenance, which is not really a problem for these guys, but for the espionage points. I should be building more here in this continent, actually. Well, actually, the build it here. Oh, come on, I didn't. Well, now I'm moving switched many towns to research because I need to get there to this technology first. Well, I have now one town here. Now I should be building another soon here. Let's see if it actually happens. It is the here 1600. Okay, let's interrupt the first part.